Good job. Yeah, you're right. I can move over.
Oh, I know.
Get both chairs worth of pay. He's gonna get a run. Hey, yeah, since you're gonna add a Z, we're gonna add a. We're all just we're gonna add a zero, but it's gonna be not on the right side.
Yeah, I know. Couldn't tell by the picture.
Yeah.
I'll still swear by that. I mean, that apple is not far from that.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it. Yeah. So we're working somewhere.
Oh, no.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Madison County Board of Commissioners Agenda Setting Work Session, October 7th, 2024, 6 p.m. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you don't mind, please remain standing. I would like to ask for a moment of silence for a dear friend of this Board of Commissioners who has attended probably the past 10 years worth of Board of Commissioners meeting, Mr. Larry Cox. Mr. Larry Cox passed away late Friday night. If you don't mind, bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. For any one of you that may be friends and may have followed the social media posts about Mr. Cox's arraignment, there will be a visitation tomorrow in Royston, Georgia at 11 a.m. and at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon there will be a funeral service for Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox ran as chairman on 2 different occasions, always in good spirits. I don't think Mr. Cox at any point in time was in it for the job. He just wanted to serve his community. He has been an instrumental part of our food bank and what our food bank is today due to his dedication. He's also a member of Rotaries. He was also one of the he wasn't a teacher, but he was one of the readers at Isla Elementary School that read to kids every week. There was a lot that Mr. Cox and his wife attended fundraisers. One of his biggest ones was TJ and Friend fundraisers for cancer patients. And wrapping it up in short, Madison County was better and the world was better with Mr. Cox.
Yeah. And I'd like to just add that District 4, he meant a lot to District 4. He had a lot of input, and a lot of times I would go to him and ask him for some advice and some things about that area, especially because he knew it so well. And in fact, we kidded him about being the mayor of Harrison. So I just want to say I'm going to miss Larry. I'm going to miss his advice and his input. And there's probably nobody, as Todd's already said, that did more as far as in organizations and volunteerism and those kind of things. So we're going to miss him, but he will always be with us in spirit.
Thank you. Moving on to the chairman's report. First off, I want to thank the citizens of Madison County. Through this recent hurricane in which our area escaped from, and the volunteers that have been so giving, we have been able to fill multiple 53-foot trailers with donations. HBC Towing took one to Hazelhurst, Georgia just recently. Our sheriff's office has one now that I was told right before I walked into this meeting has about 6 more foot of space in it, if anybody has anything they would like to donate. That particular destination will be down to Truland County, which is between Swainsboro and between Swainsboro and Vidalia. They have a distribution center there. That's where that trailer will pull out Wednesday. So if you know of anyone that still has things that they would like to donate, please contact the sheriff's office or the CID investigations building, and somebody there will make arrangements to unload if you have a large load. Update on this past weekend's TJ and Friends Car Show event here in Madison County. It was held out back at the Government Complex. It was the largest turnout in the history of TJ and Friends being held in this county. I think that's 12 years. This year marked the 12th year, I believe. There was 104 classic cars there. There were cars of all varieties, motorcycles. They raised a little over $10,000 for cancer patients. Keeping in mind that these cancer patients that will receive these funds are from Madison County. All money raised in Madison County, all money raised in Elbert County stays in its home county. So it was a great event, and I want to thank every volunteer that worked the booth, worked the concession stands, that cooked the hot dogs and hamburgers. They do that free of charge, just out of the goodness of their heart to help cancer patients. So I just want to give a shout out to those guys. A couple important things that I'm sure all of you are aware of. If you're not, you will soon. Tax bills just went out. This year's tax bills look a little different from years past. These tax bills have a little more information on it that you've not normally seen. There's a few added line items that we chose to put on the bill that's normally just rolled into other dollar figures, trying to explain those tax figures a little bit best. You'll see a rollback from sales tax rollback. That's never been on your bill before. I have fielded probably 15 or 20 calls about when did you start taxing boats. We've taxed boats ever since boats has been around. The county's collected taxes. The only difference was you only got a tax on a boat if your boat is valued at more than $7,500. But if anybody has questions regarding their tax bill, please contact the tax commissioner. He can explain your bill. But I have, over the past 3 days, I follow social media, as most of you know, and I want to clear up a few things that's not correct. Madison County is not the highest taxing agency around us. We're not higher than Jackson County. We're not higher than some of our neighboring counties in which they speak of on social media. To be exact, Madison County's overall tax bill for the unincorporated area is 25.4. That's broken up, as you know, between the school board, the IDBA, our fire departments, Oconee County and Jackson County that we like to get thrown into that wheelhouse. As you may very well know, if you live here, we don't have the industrial offset. We don't have the splash offset these guys get. A lot of times, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it's around 13, 14 million in one of those two counties. For splash, we have about 2 million. Again, we are not higher than our surrounding counties. Maybe a couple of them, but if you look at the ones that we are higher on, they have other generating revenue sources than we do. One last note, 3 last notes, sorry. I'll make them quick though. The old gymnasium out back, if your child participates in dance, volleyball, or anything else, the bathrooms have been completed. They are in working order. You have full bathroom use now. That was completed Friday of last week. The one last thing I want to mention is today was the last day to register to vote. If you did not register to vote today, you will be ineligible in the voting election for the 2024 season. Early voting begins October 15th. Please keep that in mind. We encourage people to vote early to keep the lines down at the precincts. Gentlemen, that's all I have. Imagine that. We'll move on to business involving guest groups, multiple visitors. We do have a proclamation for tonight for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Go ahead. Breast cancer affects millions of individuals and families each year, impacting lives across our community and beyond. And whereas October is recognized nationally as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, dedicated to increasing awareness of the disease, promoting early detection and support research efforts. And whereas rising awareness about breast cancer can save lives through early diagnosis and treatments, as well as encouraging individuals to take proactive steps in their health. And whereas countless organizations and advocates work tirelessly to provide education and support and resources for those affected by breast cancer, fostering a spirit of hope and resilience. And whereas it is essential to honor the brave individuals who faced breast cancer, celebrate the survivors, and remember those we have lost. And whereas a community, we have to come together to support initiatives that promote breast cancer research, prevention, and support services. Gentlemen, I would entertain a motion on this proclamation.
Do we adopt this proclamation as presented?
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Kirk. Any discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner Adams.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Madison County do hereby proclaim October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Madison County, Georgia. We encourage all residents to participate in activities and events that raise awareness, support research efforts, and stand in solidarity with those affected by breast cancer. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on the 7th day of October 2024. Thank you, gentlemen. I did skip something on the chairman's report. I want to back up and make a mention of this because it was mentioned to me by the sheriff's office and also with EMS. You know, ever since we've got our driver's license at the age of 16, things have gotten more complicated in your automobile. We have had horrendous crashes lately. People have lost their lives. And I'm going to predetermine based off of the sight on scene by our deputies and EMS workers. Most of these accidents was caused by distraction. Distracted drivers, fiddling with something, whether it be the phone, the radio, the incoming calls, or the text messages. It's a shame to lose a loved one in a traffic accident, whether it's the person that calls direct or the recipient. Either way, it's no win. Please, please, please practice safe driving. I know some of us have been driving 30, 40 years. Some of us a little longer than that, Commissioner Adams. But still, we must pay attention to our surroundings. The past 3 or 4 I've heard has involved fire departments and rescue at each one of those. Airlifts, Madison County, rural Madison County. Come on now, we can do better. You want to come up, young lady? Gentlemen. That is your proclamation for everything you do for the Department of Health. We thank you.
You got a picture taken?
Yeah, man. Don't you like us now? There you go. I'll get behind. Frank's taller than all of us. See? Okay. Thank you. And for you all that don't know, we have one of the best Department of Healths in the state of Georgia. please use their services. And if you don't know what they offer, go online and look. You may be astonished at what we have right here in our county, and most of it is free of charge.
Yes, that is correct. Come see us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Public hearing, actions of zoning master, Mr. Scott.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, let me start off with an apology to the first zoning applications. I mispronounced your name, I do apologize. I'm just gonna call him West.
All right.
He's requesting to rezone his 2 acres from AR to business to combine with his adjoining business zoned property to allow the construction of an operation of a small-scale metal gate fabrication business. The property is located on 0 Willis Glen Road in Hull on map 30, parcel 77-02 in District 3. There was a lot of conversation back and forth, a lot of questions asked about this particular rezones, and Wes was able to come and to answer most of their questions, most of our questions. There was a letter in opposition submitted by Dr. David Whitehead, and it was read by the zoning administrator. That was concerns about the preservation of farmland, environmental impact, traffic safety, community character, infraction strains, and long-term impacts. There was also one of our board members, Mr. Kenneth Bradley, has been contacted by quite a few people regarding their opposition to this particular rezone request. Jason Johnson came forward. He's an adjoining property owner, and he voiced his concerns regarding stormwater runoff issues on adjoining properties. After much discussion, the planning and zoning voted 6-1 to approve this particular rezone request, but there were conditions. The condition, 2-acre property from AR to business to combine his adjoining business rezone property. The condition was that both properties be combined into 4-acre tracts. The property could not be further developed or divided without counting zoning ordinance approval, without the board's approval. And the entrance and the driveway should comply with section 8.3 of the Madison County zoning ordinance regarding commercial driveways. The vote was 6-1 with these conditions to recommend approval.
Mr. Scott, can you restate that first condition that you read?
The first
condition that
The first condition?
Yeah.
Okay, the first condition was that both properties be combined into a 4-acre tract.
Mm-hmm.
Both properties had to be combined together.
Right.
Okay? The property could not be further developed or divided without board approval. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right?
Mr. Kaczynski, is there anything you would like to add to that, sir?
Why become this way? Because 2 acres, that's the plan of this property that I own right now. This portion is already highly developed commercial. That's my property that I'm working. There's 4 acres together. 2 already here, they're commercial. I really don't have any problem with this thing, but there's this problem. Any development has to be approved by board, which means condition like the next development has to be approved is obvious. What I'm doing this right now, basically to achieve my main driveway, to achieve the access to back of property. Have this residential, have this business. I want to put road in center and develop here this portion here. I understand the condition, but I will never do anything without approval. But asking me to spend $60,000 for commercial driveway here and putting condition I cannot develop in the future, something one is against another. That's mine. That's how look this side road right now. This is not farming area where I'm going and making impact. That's how look this neighbor side. That's my side. I own this property for 20 years. Was there any complaint about, dumping, nothing about that? I don't see this as a condition, but you can do whatever you have to do. My main reason what I'm doing this, I want to build the access to the center of my property, of course to develop a business in this place. But I can see here, this already is existing. I'm going this here, and I own this 20 years of commercial. I don't see that condition, but again, like I said, it's up to you, whatever you decide.
Sir, is anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Is anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? All right. Come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. I'm Ernest Blevins. I'm 150 yards from this property. I think all of y'all have received the email I sent to you with some rebuttals to the questionnaire that was filed with the original application. My main concern is the quality of the neighborhood that we have there. The noise, the dust, any part of fabricating metal generates a lot of dust, noise, paint fumes. All the equipment to abate that adds more to the noise pollution. It takes away from the quality we have in our neighborhood. Also, we don't need the road tore up any more than it is. Trucks bringing in steel, people come to pick up delivery trucks going out, even the equipment coming to build the road he has to have is going to bring in tractor trailers with heavy equipment to do the paving. It's just going to tear the road up even more. Now, we don't want any of that. I'd like to keep the neighborhood as it is. And on his, I don't have it in front of me, but I think question 9 or 10 on the original form, he states on there that he can have his business there, has it zoned currently. The existing entranceway that comes up by the old building there is open, goes right along the left side of the building, plenty of room for width, and goes right back to the back of the property where he says he wants to build the building in. So I don't see what he needs this other 2 acres for. To me, it's something in the future sell, develop.
So you're I'm trying to understand you correctly. So you're saying you're okay with him building another business as long as we don't grant the rezone?
I can't do anything about him building a business on what is already zoned as business, but I do want to look out for any future development he may try to do on the other 2 acres if it's zoned for business.
What did you say your name was again? Sorry.
Ernest Blevins.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak in opposition?
Yes, stand up.
I'll give you an opportunity.
Hey, I actually live right next door to the business. He lives on the other side. I'm just concerned about, I agree with him, we're so used to it being quiet there, and I actually have a pool towards the end of the field, and I just think all the dust, and all the noise, we don't have any noise there. It's so peaceful. The fumes too, the in and out traffic, and I walk, a lot up that road, and I walk to work sometimes. I run these grocery and so, that's my main concern. I don't really, I'm so used to it being up for theirs.
So your name and address, please, sir.
Pamela Drake, 800 Willis Glen Road.
So again, you would be okay with him building a business on the current zoning, just not if we rezone it to where there could potentially be another one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition?
Good evening. Richard Polk, 923 Willis Glen.
Thank you, sir.
I'd just like to say that I want to iterate the same things that has already been said. And with the doctor in his letter that he mentioned, and I'm in opposition of this, just to keep our community the way that it is, quiet, peaceful.
Okay.
And everything else that's already been said.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else here to speak in opposition? All right, hearing none, Mr. Kaczynski, was there any reply to the dust, noise, anything like that that's been stated at their concerns? How about that, sir?
I don't see any reason to be concerned. This is not production like heavy machinery.
Could you explain what you're going to do exactly?
I'm in gate business. Basically, I'm building entrance iron gates to protect it. And I'm working on the electronic, welding electronic. The paint is always done in different ways, paracoating. It's not my portion of my business. It's like welding shop. What kind of noise? Not to be worried about it. Because during 8 hours, there's going to be some noise, but not excessive. I own this property for 20 years. For last 6, I was going to divorce this vacant, but this is only for 20 years commercial. Now, before I spend the money to put building on back of property, new building, I'm talking about 5,000 square feet, I need access to it, and I cannot have half road on residential, half road on commercial. Again, the only one where I see is development property, but I don't want to be held with this condition. For example, if I spend only for driveway $60,000, and then I cannot develop in the future, let's say 10, 20 years from today, seems to be unfair. This commercial is mine. I pay taxes on this. I should be able to, with normal approach to be able to develop and make this whatever I want in the future. Of course, knowing the regulation, but this property is in my possession for 20 years as commercial.
I think I read on one of the notes here, it said that you'd proposed to do gravel parking, but I think the original site plan showed parking spaces.
I would love to have, it is allowed, I can have gravel driveway all the way without spending the big money, but it is a requirement to put regular driveway, I will do it. But if I spend the money, then I cannot be bound with something. You can spend $60,000, but you cannot develop nothing. Let's say 5 years from today, I want to put an additional building or split in half and sell it half. Well, it's not right now. I agree with this. I'm going to be banned with this type of condition.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Scott, did the P&Z acknowledge the paving aspect of it? I know there was CPL recommendation, and then the P&Z made a recommendation or potential condition.
Yes, that was a condition that would be brought up to standard to section 8.3
yes.
of the Madison County zoning orders regarding commercial driveways. And that has to do with, a lot has to do with water runoff, and, the potential, like I said, of large trucks going in. But, he also said that he only produced, 12 to 15 gates per year?
I'm going to run a two-people operation, me and my helper. How many gates can produce during the day? Usually average one a month I'm installing, close to install. It's two-people operation. Well, if I put new building, I'm probably trying to grow up, but to what kind of size? But business success of the business gonna show.
Fine. Well, there's no one else here to speak in opposition, no one else here to speak in favor, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board general, I'll entertain a motion.
PPL has some additional conditions that they heard. Restated some of the conditions from what the PNC said. Yeah.
So they changed condition 4 that was previously presented to the P and Z. That's the condition the P and Z changed to match section 8.3, which is what CPL did.
Okay.
And then what's highlighted in red are just mentioning other parking space requirements, landscaping requirements, lighting requirements, all that Article 6 that he would have to fall under anyway.
Okay, so that's not actually an additional condition, it's just.
The zoning administrator asked for it stated.
Any other questions? Jim?
I know you said, you said obviously, if you were going to try to add another business later on down the road, then it would have to have approval.
Yes.
But we would be more comfortable with it in black and white, because if it's not in black and white, then it doesn't really exist. And so that's why we're stating that, that's why that condition was added in there, that's why they stated it like that. Because it's not obvious unless it's written down. Okay, so that's why it's stated like that. So, should I, if I,
You
read it
what
now?
you want.
If you don't mind, I just want to repeat, one sentence. Again, this condition for putting this roads and say the expectation to be commercial driveway, we're talking $68,000. It's hard for me to just see this reasoning you cannot develop. Spending $60,000 only for driveway, now you cannot develop, then maybe this condition of driveway should be changed. For example, I can have normal driveway on my own property, and whatever I've got needs in the future, I'm gonna go from that road anyway. But to require me to put 200 feet commercial driveway, and then bound in my hands, you cannot develop, you cannot split in the future. Somehow one is against another.
what kind of trucks do you have going in and out of the business?
I've got 354 pickup, and usually I'm using my 35-foot trailer, which I'm delivering this to the job site or delivering my own metal line to my shop. Right now the driveway is a problem because it's going against the building. That's the driveway. It's filled up, and for commercial, I want to put 5,000 square feet building. I'm just comfortable entrance into the house.
Understand that the road condition, the requirement on that is not a condition that we're gonna place. That's a county ordinance that's already in place that you would have to follow.
Like again, anything what you do, you have to follow some regular rules.
Yes.
But I'm saying, if this road is gonna be to the half of my length of my property, and all have to pave, and all have to have runover water, any development has to have this retention pond, which that's going with civil engineering requirements of design. But not about combining and then make some requirement. But yes, the entrance by itself, in position what I want, in center, that's obvious, at least it was obvious, but that's what I'm here for. That's our main concern, main request. Thank you.
Wes, you're aware that on the 2-acre parcel that is already a business zone, that you can go ahead and do what you want to on that property without coming forward this board approval to do so.
Yes, and I spoke to my civil engineer, and he said, no, you cannot plan that overcome approved driveway where half is gonna be on residential and half will be commercial.
Yeah, your driveway would still have to access just that one side, that one 2-acre.
Well, you have to see this, how the property look, it is split in half, long, narrow split. And if I take off the road, and then I'm losing portion, next to the road, 50 feet, doesn't make sense to go this way. if I can keep it residential, let's say quarter of this property and develop on the back, I can maybe put my house someday here. I wouldn't have a problem. But the road has to be in center and has to be able to access part of my property. All right. And because this is narrow, adding road and losing for 15 feet extra, to have, forgot his name, but, which means doesn't make sense because of this location and this very narrow property. That's the whole 4 acres. You didn't have this very narrow
Yes,
thing.
we understand.
That building that is there, that building that is existing there, one question and of course I'll wait on the motion, but why would you not want to, put your building up near to the road and potentially leave the area with the trees as a buffer between you and the adjacent property?
I'm surrounded here with farming land.
Right.
My next neighbor living here is, I don't know how many feet, I would say 700-800 feet. Well, we see each other, yes, of course, but nothing like next to it. I mean, if I can see this house next to me far away, let's say 700 feet maybe from this position over here. Here everything developed, there are some mobile houses, and here are existing businesses, few of them already.
I just want to make sure you understood that with the 2 acres that you have that is currently zoned business, you can do what you're requesting without doing anything with that additional two acre piece that you're considering.
6 months took me to be upfront here. And the only reason why I delayed everything, and I want to be upfront of you guys here, because my civil engineer said, I cannot develop this property, like it's shown here, center driveway, if you want it residential.
Yeah. Yeah, with the exception of the driveway. I mean, obviously, if you're going to leave it as it is, your driveway would have to address just that 2 acre portion. You wouldn't want to split the property. That could be silly to do so. Yeah, that's okay. Just to make sure you understand.
Any other discussion, gentlemen? Any other questions, sir?
The question regarding the driveway, looking at the recommendation that came to us, clarity, to make sure I understand. We're talking about the driveway apron and portion of the driveway that's in the right of way. So the apron into the property up to standards. Then it could be gravel up to the building, where then it says it needs to be paid for the parking area. Is that accurate?
My understanding was this would be all ordinance standards, this would all be paid. The portion of the parking lot will be according to the ordinance, and that goes into employees and square footage. And that this is what they're specifically saying, because it's showing a driveway, that they're saying that this apron needs to be paved. But then any storage in the back, whatever, can be gravel.
But this is just future civil engineering design, it has to be by code for a different country. My main concern is, if I may still work, my concern is I want to achieve this entrance to my property. That's my main concern.
What now?
My main concern, what I'm here for, I want to achieve to have permits to make entrance to my property in this location. What is here right now, everything is going to be developed by code, civil engineering, going to go approval through planning, developing, but that's the main reason why I'm here. And to achieve this, I have to have this both combined together. What's going to be in the future? I don't know. I'm 67. What I'm going to think is you're going to be 70, very tired. I don't know. But I understand this requirement, fully understand. But other conditions, they are connected with developing this property, with civil engineering design.
What is that little section that shoots off to the right there in the driveway?
That is for backup, most likely. I'm not sure, but again, that's future developing thing, and we're gonna be city engineer involved in this thing, and he's gonna go through county approval. That's the main thing what I'm here for today.
On the plans, it shows, it's stated as a dead-end fire apparatus access road turnaround.
In lieu of like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
But
Just so I understand, here again, I maybe should wait for a motion, but just so I understand, the properties that have been referenced as being existing now, which are across the street, it would appear that one of the conditions we're asking for regarding paving, that those business properties, it appears to be paving in the front and on the side with a gravel lot behind. So we're not asking for the paving, it's not asking for something that's unusual.
That's right.
Do you guys have a copy of this? As a reference?
Commissioner May, you got any other questions? No. Commissioner Kirk, any questions? All right, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this request with the following conditions. The rezoning shall only take effect upon the combination of tract 1, which is under common ownership, with tract 2, the subject parcel. Number 2, the development shall substantially conform to the site plan submitted with the application. However, alterations necessary to accommodate other conditions specified herein are permitted without additional approval, provided they align with the spirit and context of the approval as determined by the Planning and Zoning Department. Number 3, the driveway apron and any portion of the driveway and the right-of-way shall at a minimum be constructed to public street standards and paved, subject to review and approval by the county. Number 4, all parking areas to be accessible by customers shall be paved and comply with all other off-street parking site requirements outlined in the code ordinances. Gravel is a permissible material for storage of equipment and materials. Number 5, you must meet all requirements as outlined in Article 6 concerning the parking area, paving, lighting, and landscape. Number 6, the parcel cannot be developed or divided in the future without board approval.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Kirk. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Adams.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Doster.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, Mr. Scott.
All right. Rezone request number 2, Derek and Jennifer Kessler are requesting to rezone their 5.03 acres from A2 to AR to allow 3.06 portion of adjoining property to be absorbed into the tract for heritage purposes. The property is located at 7041 Nowhere Road in Hull on map 16, parcel 117B in District 1. No one came forward in favor of, and no one came forward in opposition to. The planning and zoning voted to recommend approval by a 7-0 vote.
Thank you, sir. Mr. and Ms. Kessler, are you comfortable with that presentation, or is there anything you'd like to add? Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion. Have a motion by Commissioner Adams, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chandler. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner Chandler?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Rezone request number 3, Jennifer Kessler, applicant for Norma Arnold Estate, is requesting to rezone a 3.06 acre portion of the 36.24 acre property from A2 to AR. To split and absorb into adjoining property for inheritance purposes. The remaining 33.18 acres will stay in the A2 zone. Property is located at 6999 Nowhere Road in Hull on map 16, parcel 117 in District 1. During the public hearing, no one came forward. In opposition, no one came forward in favor. A motion was made and the planning and zoning voted 0-7 for approval.
Thank you, sir. Are you comfortable with that presentation?
Fine, thank you.
All right. Is anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion that this rezone request be approved as stated.
Motion by Commissioner Adams, do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Commissioner Kirk. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner May?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carried.
Number 4, Christy Fortson, applicant for her grandparents Larry and Janice Harrison, is requesting to rezone their 5.27 acres from A1 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for their granddaughter. Property is located at 11571 Wildcat Bridge Road in Danielsville on map 66, parcel 58, District 4. During the public hearing, no one came forward. For this particular rezone request, no one came forward in opposition. The planning and zoning voted 7-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Fortson, are you comfortable with that presentation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anyone here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
I make a motion that this be approved as outlined on the.
Second motion.
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Motion carried.
5, Chad Knight, applicant for his father Billy Knight, is requesting to rezone a 4.34 acres portion of his 14.34 acres from A2 to AR to split to give to his son, and the remaining 10 acres will remain in the A2 zone. The property is located at 2080 Hardman Morris Road in Cobbett on map 59, parcel 128B in District 5. During the public hearing, no one came forward in favor of this specific rezone request. No one came forward in opposition to. We had one board member abstained from voting. So the planning and zoning, the remainder voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Are you comfortable with that presentation?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Anyone here speaking in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here speaking in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve this present.
Motion by Commissioner Doster, do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Adams. Gentlemen, any discussion?
just for the board reference, I've received no calls with concerns.
Thank you. Hearing none, Commissioner Doster, it's on you.
Yes.
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 Motion carries, sir.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Number 6, Harold applicant John and Osingla 02 is requested to rezone the 10 acres from A1 to A2 to allow 2 homes to be placed on the property for a family member. The property is located on 0 Tables Chapel Church Road in Danielsville, map 36, parcel AEC, District 2. The planning and zoning were not comfortable with all the information that was brought forward because they wanted to build the accessory dwelling first before they actually built the permanent residence. So we, as a planning and zoning, voted to postpone this particular request until the property owner could be talked to and given the reasons that we wanted to delay it, because it was not clear as to what was going to happen. So this will come back before the planning and zoning this month. And the zoning administrator has been in touch with both parties involved.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. I want to say, I think out of the 100 and something emails I get, I think this one did come up today or Friday. I think they have decided now which way they're going to go, and it is going to come before you. I think the other applicant is going to be the first.
Yes, I talked to the zoning administrator today, and she informed me that she had talked to them, and they believe they had it straightened out, and it will come back before the planning and zoning before we bring a recommendation back to you.
That's good due diligence, sir.
All right. Number 7. George Smith and Peggy Luke are requested to rezone a 23.96 acre portion of their 84.21 acres from A1 to A2 to split and sell the remaining and the remaining acreages will stay in the A1 zone. The property is located at 471 Donald Smith Road, Hull, on map 26, parcel 35 in District 1. There was a Mr. Wilford Gilliland spoke in favor of this particular request. There was no one that came to speak against this particular rezone request. We did have a board member to abstain and did not vote. And the planning and zoning recommend to the Board of Commissioners by a 6-0 vote to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Smith, are you comfortable with that presentation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion, this rezoning request be approved as stated.
Motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Chandler. Thank you, gentlemen. Any discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner Adams, it's on you, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Motion carries, sir.
I believe under new business number 5 came before the planning and zoning
Yes, sir.
for a recommendation for tonight's meeting.
So, gentlemen, one second. So, old business, there is none, so we're moving on to item number 5. Correct.
It's kind of unusual that we get a request to do this and then it comes before you at the next meeting, but there was a lot of discussion. The gentleman from Radical Properties made an excellent presentation to the Planning and Zoning Board, and we voted unanimously, a 7-0 vote to bring this into, actually, we approve the preliminary plat.
Thank you, sir.
And we bring it before you tonight for your approval. We do recommend that you approve.
All right, thank you, sir.
Could I say something about that request from the Bean Company?
Yes, sir. I'm fixing to open the floor, but go right ahead.
My name is Gary Webb, and I live at 118 Honeysuckle Road. The property they're talking about is between Highway 72 and Jack Sharp and Honeysuckle Road. Right now, the temporary driveway is on Honeysuckle. In the future, you're gonna have to make a lot of road improvements to Honeysuckle and Jack Sharp if the driveways in and out of this business property remains on that side. Seems to me that it'd be a lot less expense for the county if the driveways were in and out of Highway 72.
Sir, you're not wrong in your statement. Georgia Department of Transportation prefers, but based off it being a four-lane highway, that there be no more intersection than possible. They would actually prefer, when I reached out to them, for it to come off a secondary street. I do agree that it would familiarize better if it was adjacent, but that was Georgia DOT's statement.
Will they give the county extra money to improve those roads?
Well, believe it or not, sir, we do receive LMIG money. It's not designated to one particular road. But duly noted your concerns, because they were the Board of Commissioners' concerns also.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Beam is here tonight, along with his engineer of record, I'm assuming, for any questions the Board of Commissioners may have regarding this plat approval, preliminary plat approval. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Beam?
Okay. It shows that there's 6 phases. How many phases are we? And then as you look through the engineer reports, it kind of goes specifically into phase 1 and 2. Okay. And then it goes into like your soil erosions and stuff like that, specifically for phase 1 and 2. So is that what you're asking for, just phase 1?
So, we're asking for the whole plat to be approved in all 6 phases. Everything's been designed to be cohesive. All of the water retention, entrances, exits, all of that kind of thing has been done. This project as a whole. Problem is, unlike other people, my pockets are a little short to do all 6 phases at one time. So this gives me the opportunity to come in and develop each phase as I have businesses to come in, offices to come in and occupy it. And so therefore it helps me mitigate, spread out the costs of the project. So the phase right now that we're looking at is phase 1, so that's the primary consideration.
So you're asking only for phase 1?
So I'm asking for the whole plat to be approved. Yeah, so
Which part of it's going to include what you can buy Ms. Carvin's acres there?
So, Ms. Carter owns this triangle right here, and if we're able to purchase that, which is probably not very likely, it would allow me to reposition the building somewhat and provide more green space, but that would be about the benefit of shortening that driveway, keep the buildings closer together, and decrease a little bit of cost.
Keeping in mind, if you were to purchase that, you would have to come back before the Board of Commissioners if you alter the plans as they are approved.
So, well, first thing I have to do is rezone it, because I think that's,
Correct.
well, it's not business, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then once it was rezoned, I would then have to come back and present, technically, I guess, phases 5 and 6 for a new approval under a redesign. That's my understanding. Am I correct?
That is correct, sir.
So, yes.
Has anything changed on the drawings since the site plan that I saw?
No, sir.
Okay.
You're showing one entrance for the whole.
Well, there'll be 2 entrances. There's one down here closer to the honeysuckle, and one that comes directly across from where Jack Sharp is its 90-degree turn. So it'll be 2 entrances in and out through the property.
Your design is for more professional park.
Correct. I would love to have just an office park. I think that many spaces may take a little bit of time to find that many offices, doctors, CPAs, attorneys, whoever I can get in there. There may be some retail establishments in there. This past week, I was talking to a jewelry store. I've spoken with a guy about doing a fitness gym. So there'll be some retail in there as well. But the whole goal and the whole advertising campaign that I'm putting out is directed toward offices.
And understanding that I think it's a great idea if it's in a location where we want businesses. If we approve the site plan tonight, your road that connects phase 1, but potentially phase 5 and 6 or whatever, are you going to go ahead and build that road?
No, sir. So the first parking lot in the first entrance and the retention pond for the first 4 phases, all of that will be done in phase 1. So the storm water portion of it, with the stormwater drainage, curb and gutter, and the retention pond, would all be done. That would be in advance of phases 2 through 4. So as phase 2 is done, the parking lot for phase 2 would be added. When phase 3 is done, then the second entrance would be added over to phase 3. So the parking lots for 3 and 4 would be done at that point. Now, of course, always the goal is, with the interest that I've had and hopefully more interest coming, my goal is not to do it in 6 phases. I'd like to do it in 2 or 3. But again, my pockets are shallow.
The only thing that I would like to state on this and potentially be a condition of the approval is that the IDBA still hasn't, I mean, you spoke with Rodney at the IDBA, but no formal plan has been laid out for the water as of yet. They need to vote on that. So if we approve the plan, I would ask the board to approve it with the condition contingent upon the IDBA water line agreement, whatever that may look like. Because I haven't seen anything in writing from those guys yet.
We do have a letter from the water.
Right here.
Well, yeah, that letter is stating that there's water available,
Okay.
but not the actual design of the water lines.
Gotcha.
On sizing. I didn't see that in the letter. I just saw the grant saying, yes, you are going to have water. You will be supplied with Madison County water, but I don't think
This is Brett Thurman.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, how you
Long
doing?
time no see, sir.
How you doing? So yeah, on the water, this particular development is set up so that each building would have the number of meters required for each business, whether that's 1 business in a building or 3 businesses in a building. So you'd end up with up to 1 to 3 meters for each building. And so, and there is no proposal to extend water onto the site in a big line. We looked at fire hydrants all around the site. There's 4, 2 on the local road and 2 on the Highway 72. And looking at the circumferences of the circles that are required to show the distance to the buildings, we have coverage for all the buildings that are planned on the site. And so right now we're not proposing to extend water onto the site. We're going to tap into the line and serve the buildings as they're constructed.
The reason I asked the contingent upon is because the water department may deem something different. They may say, okay, you need X fire hydrants. You may need an 8-inch line. Currently, the plan was to bore under honeysuckle, potentially multi-times, to get to building 6 versus get to building 1, which is going to get some cost in there. I still would recommend the contingent upon the approval letter with them stating what they would recommend. If they feel comfortable with your plan, fine, so be it. It's in black and white. That contingent is fulfilled.
Sure. And I think, but I want to say that, you know, boring on the roads, typically for a service line, it's a free bore, and they put the pipe in there, and, you know, if you go into dense subdivisions, we've got them all lined up all the way down those roads. A lot of times, they're put in ahead of time, but other times they're not.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, the difference between a 3/4 inch service line versus a potential 2 inch, it may feel 3 office places a little bit different.
yeah.
So the free bore can get stretched just a little bit. Again, I don't think it's too much to ask for.
And again, it was just a conversation, right? So I definitely agree we need to get it right. But in talking with Rodney, he was saying that outside of phase 1 would be the only one that would bore in the honeysuckle.
Correct.
The other 5 would come off of the water lines already on the property.
Okay.
So there would only be one bore.
Then it should be a moot point then.
Well, I have objection, and I don't disagree that there's hydrants on 72, but I think I made a statement in the meeting that I want to know what the fire department has to say, what our, what's fire chiefs or the local fire department that serves this area, because there may be a hydrant on 72, but they're not going to stop in 72 and drag the hose through the woods. I think that's unfair.
And I understand, and that's valid. We actually have double coverage. So every building actually has 2 fire hydrants that serve it to meet both local and state ordinance for that. The fire hydrant that's right here is literally right here at this curve. It's going to be 20 feet, 30 feet away from the driveway that's there. So there wouldn't be any dragging through the woods. There wouldn't be, it's going to be right there. The fire truck's going to be right there. The other hydrant's right here, right across the road from there. Fire hydrant here, and there's actually even another fire hydrant here to cover these 2 buildings. With the double coverage.
The drive, and the drive's not gonna be in place.
Neither on the buildings.
Yeah, but the drive will be in place when the buildings are there.
If we build this out in 6 phases, then
What comes
we'll.
first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, phase 1 is.
Phase 1.
Phase 1, 2, and 3 are covered by the first fire hydrant and this fire hydrant over here. Neither of which has to cross 72. And then, once we get to phase 3, 4, they're covered by this fire hydrant and this fire hydrant. Phases 5 and 6 are covered by these 2 fire hydrants. So as they get built, there's fire hydrant coverage for every building, and minimum of 2.
Again, we are pro-business, so just
Let's give
having
it
having that caveat in there with that letter,
Sure.
as Commissioner May said earlier, it don't exist, means nothing if it's not in writing, so. I think that would probably just so happen that IDA board has the Chiefs Association for the fire departments on it. I can guarantee you that he's gonna see that document and that plan, confer with Rodney to make the agreement to put the document in place. I don't see it being a problem,
Just do it.
but I just wanted that verbiage in there.
Can do.
All right, thank you.
It'd be easy to state contingent upon water department's approval that would also evaluate that would also assess the fire protection situation.
Yes, sir. I think that would cover Mr. Dawson's question too.
I just want the guys that's gonna show up in the middle of the night.
We
Then
have
you got
some
more to
other-
worry about the Joro spiders.
All right, gentlemen, if there's no other questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve with the condition of IDA and fire chief.
Second motion.
All right, have a motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I forgot. Thank you. And I'm excited about this project. I wish you well. And if there's anything this office can do, to try to help you, promote the park, hiring, whatever the case may be, please let us know. We don't mind, sharing stuff to our page, saying, hey, you're looking for employees, whatever the case may be. We want our citizens to work at home.
Well, I'm excited about the project. Living here in Madison County for 25 years, drive by this every day. I want something that's going to look good, but it's also going to be a stable, long-term benefit to the county. The more businesses that come in here, the lower my property taxes will be.
That's right.
So
Thank you.
But in a controlled way. We're in a corridor, we're in the right zone, trying to be in the right place.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Before you leave, thank you. Next on the agenda, discuss the Department of Family and Children Services 2025 budget.
This is just for discussion.
Yeah, it's just for discussion. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
We're actually doing really good right now.
I created some handouts, just a couple of things. The first one being the actual org chart for DPAC in Madison County. We've had, unfortunately, some vacancies. We are down to 3 full-time case manager positions. One of those positions, she will be leaving on October the 15th, that's her last day with us. I have one position posted already, and the position of the worker that's leaving on the 15th should be posted, I'm hoping, this week. It's working through the process to get it approved. So after the 15th, that leaves me with 2 full-time case manager positions. I have 1 state-funded PRM position that has been approved through December the 19th. I have 1 supervisor that unfortunately is on rotation and working a full caseload. And then it's myself, which I'm being county director and providing supervision. That's what we're looking at right now. I have requested a 5th case manager position, and I'm waiting to hear back from the state to see if that will be approved and allocated to us.
How many positions do you have for the Medicare and Medicaid support?
So the Medicare and Medicaid support, that doesn't actually fall under Madison County per se. It's regional positions. I know I have 2 OFI staff that are housed in the building right now that report every day, and I'm being told that that OFI is sending their people back to the offices soon, so I have about 10 to 15 that's going to be coming in. But they work region, so they may not be taking just applications from Madison County, it'll be the region. So they're moving them back into the office away from telework for those positions. The next 2 things is just a little bit of data. The first one is our data for this year. The blue line shows CPS, which is our investigations and family support. So that's how many cases, new cases we received each month for this year so far. The orange line is family preservation cases, and the green line is foster care cases. Or foster care new entries. The next page will show you what the difference is in CPS from 2023 to 2024. We have, as of October, just the first few days in October, we have surpassed the number of investigations and family supports this year than last year. So it'll continue to go up. Last year we received a total of 162 cases. As of today, when I pull this, we have received 169 for this year. So there's an increase in those. Family preservation is the unit where we have determined that there is abuse or neglect, but the children remain in the home. And so we serve them with a case manager that puts in services, checks on the families, depending on they can check on them once, twice a month. Sometimes it's every week if there's a huge concern. We have, so again, the blue bar is 2023 and the orange bar is 2024. Last year we opened 18 family preservation cases. We've already opened 32 this year. That program has almost doubled, and it will have by the end of the year. One good thing that I am very proud of is our foster care entries. That has decreased. In 2023, we had 38 kids that entered foster care, and so far this year we've only had 14 kids enter foster care.
Is that reflective of your intervention cases?
I think that's reflected in,
Cases?
yes, sir, family preservation cases. We're doing more to work with the children while they're in the home prior to removal. So I think that's why that number has increased and this has went down. The next sheet shows foster care exits. We exited 24 children in foster care in 2023, and this year we've exited 11. So that number is not quite as high as we'd like it to be, but we're working on that. I think that turnover plays a huge factor in foster care exit, because if someone leaves, the new case manager has to learn the family, has to build rapport, has to learn the children, has to review the case. Sometimes that can be volumes of notes, and it just slows down the speed of permanency, whether that's adoption, reunification, whatever. And the other page is our voluntary kinships. So voluntary kinships are when children are placed outside of the home, but parents still have custody. So the parents have chosen to place the children with a relative or a close family friend while they work on a case, but they maintain custody. So in 2023, we had 3 cases, 3 children that were placed in a voluntary kinship, and so far this year we've had 8. I think that is also an indication of our foster care numbers not being as high. The next one is the budget. I printed a new one because after I sent the request, I received the one through September. So this one has through September's budget. In reserves, we have a total of $50,778.61.
50,001, I'm sorry.
$50,778.61.
Thank you.
Then the next paper, that's just our foster care reimbursement policy for our foster parents. The only thing that changed from last year to this year is we made an addendum in the hair portion of it. Each foster child, it can get up to $60 a month for a haircut, a hairstyle. We decided to add in there that 3 times a year they can get $200 3 times a year for a haircut. That could include braids, permanent, hair straightening, or even color. Also, as well as if you have daughters, I'm sure y'all know the cost of prom hairdos are expensive, and even boy haircuts. I have an 18-year-old son. He gets his haircut, and it's like $40. So we did add the $200 up to 3 times a year that we can reimburse. That's the only thing that changed in the foster parent reimbursement policy. And then the last 2 documents are the ones that I submitted to you guys. I've used the same format because I wasn't sure if you was one of them that has been previously used. The only thing I added was I did add in the county supplements. Right now, we have, I think I left a page I didn't bring, but that's okay. Right now, we are paying 7 staff members a county supplement. Let's see, it's me, the county director, and then we have 2 of the, let's see, where's that? 2 of the admin supports, and then 5 case managers. That includes OSI and our social services.
All right, I'm going to pause for just a second.
Okay.
You know, this I'll send over to the attorney to review.
Okay.
Because they're pre-check boxes, and sometimes he don't like pre-check boxes, but that way we get an opinion from him. Go ahead, Carrie.
And then the last one, it's the same request. I just redone it, and I put in exactly what we've been spending money on. It lists a lot of things that we've worked on. It kind of explains the reports that we've received for our calendar year 2023. It goes into how much benefits was used in 2023. Let's see what else. A couple of things that I did want to point out that we've done is I've partnered with Mark, which is our Family Connections, and I'm helping them provide food they have some parenting workshops in the afternoons. They've started back up. They took a break off during the summertime. But there's a rotating schedule, so they provide child care and they provide dinner for the families that participate in these workshops. And there's a rotating schedule of who provides the food. So we've done that. We did it back in the spring, and we're gonna do it again in the fall. We also partnered with Family Connections and the school with the Back to School Bash, and we was able to purchase 265 book bags for the staff and everybody to give out at the Back to School Bash. We purchased 61 backpacks and school supplies for children that are served through our foster care program and our Family Friends program.
265 backpacks, because you don't have X amount of kids in there.
No, 265 was the Back to School Bash. So those went to the school system to give out at that Back to School Bash. The 61 backpacks and foster care supplies was for foster children and family preservation kids. What else did we do? And then there's some stuff in there. We did March of Social Work Appreciation Month, so we bought staff t-shirts and provided food. When we provide food, whether that's for my DFACS board, when we have meetings, or for staff, we try to make sure we get the food from local businesses. A lot of times my board we meet in the morning, so we get them biscuits from Gina Bell's. So we try to make sure we're giving back the money to the community. One thing that I did put in here also is I know previously there's been some conversation about not using any of the money to support a position. I did put, I would like to use some of the allocated funds for a part-time tech position. We don't have a tech position, and the state normally does not fund tech positions. Essentially what a tech position can do is they can do just about everything for the case manager that is computer related. So they can enter in their case plans. They can, each month, the case managers have to contact, we call them collaterals, but essentially it's representatives or people that knows what's going on with the state. The tech can do that. The tech, one other thing that I'm going to talk to my board about if we get this position is possibly doing a general assistance fund, which would mean we would take a portion of our reserves and allocate it for general assistance. And so if someone needed one-time help with a light bill, we could provide that, or one-time help with just different heating bills, that sort of thing. I've been talking to Action Incorporated, and they said that that's definitely a need, especially with everything increasing. So in order to have a general assistance fund, I have to have somebody that can have set office hours, that can meet with them, make sure they meet the requirements, and then we would pay the actual company directly and not the person. So we would pay Jackson MC or whoever directly. Our regional accounting would send them a check to cover the bill. So that would be one thing that the tech could cover. Other counties in the region have been willing to help us with letting us use their tech. They are not willing to let their tech do our general assistance. But for the other things, they have been able to kind of help us work through that. And the only other thing I think that has changed since then is my DFACS board voted to where I could approve anything that's $500 and less. I don't have to have their approval. It gets sent to them anyway at our board meeting, but I don't have to get pre-approval. But if it's $500.01, I have to get pre-approval. That was $200. So we did increase that.
Before I start,
Okay.
because I have questions.
Okay.
I'm going to apologize up front. My tone is not what it's meant to be. It just sounds like I'm directing arrows at you, and I am not, okay? You know I'm pretty passionate about DFACS.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it's a broken state. I've said this years ago. From the state down, DFACS is broken, and it is shattered. It's not just broken. I would love to meet with the state department head in the governor's office. My invitation is open to both of them. please pass that on. I'm friends with the governor. If I need to contact him, I'll be more than happy to. You said a couple different things here. So let's go back to the dollar figures just for a second. You said counties around us is not willing to share. I thought we were district now. We were in a district. Wasn't just Madison County DFAX. Madison County DFAX has employees in Elbert County, vice versa, all that.
So counties, so that OSI is district.
Okay.
Social services is county.
Okay.
So the tech position that counties have been letting their tech help us do, that is strictly, for instance, Clark County, they have several techs, so they have allowed a couple of their techs to help us out. They sit in Clark County, they get paid out of Clark County, they do certain things, but that's social services. So social services is still counties. Now, there may be certain counties that have the same county director. Madison County is no longer one of them. Oglethorpe and Elbert has branched off. They have a different county director. That's Norma Henninger. So I'm only employed at Madison County DFAX.
Who took Dawn Chris's position?
Siobhan Ming, her name, you can spell her name as S-I-O-B as in boy, H-A-N. Ming is her last name, M-I-N-G.
Okay.
And I can get you her contact.
That'd be better than me trying to write that. Because I lost you about halfway through the lettering there, and I apologize.
That's okay.
You said a key word there was set hours. You know, none of this is personal towards you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know this. This is state, it's in every county. To have your role, you need a shield because of something that somebody else created that you're trying to implement. You realize that. The numbers that we saw here today, I was even more floored by these numbers than I were last year's numbers, and I was upset about those because they're declining, because our services are declining, because we don't have any people. We don't have any people because the state won't fund them. And the state, to be frank, pisses me off with DFAX. They should do a better job. It's sad. If I was running for re-election in the state seat, DFAX would be the thing I was preaching. I'm going to fix DFAX. But back to the money. I don't get on my soapbox. Sorry.
Okay.
So we've got $50,778. What is the request that the Board of Commissioners should be considering? Is it this 42.9 number down here, 42.479? What number are you requesting for this year's funding if we have 57.78 still in reserve?
The request for the funding is the same as last year's, $33,500.
Okay. And I just want to remind the Board of Commissioners that may or may not have been in that particular meeting that day, we requested that those reserve funds be exhausted prior to entering back into more funding. And I think that was in fairness. And the gentleman that was with you, Mr.
Garner?
Great guy. Really liked it, very impressed with him. He acknowledged that he thought that was a reasonable request, that they would exhaust those funds. Madison, and I'm going to speak for myself, but I do think the board is on board. We're in support of DFAX. We want to help you financially, but we have to, because we're funding you with taxpayer dollars, we got to extinguish the reserve funds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the state needs to reserve funds to catch you up on a rainy day, that's their problem. We're just going to try to help our people with our funds, our taxpayer dollars. As you heard me state at the beginning of this, tonight is just for consideration. We can talk all next week. If you have other topics you'd like to chime in on, I'll pass it on to the Board of Commissioners, any email you send prior to their vote. Again, forgive my tone. People think I'm mad and I'm angry, and I'm not. I'm just passionate. So thank you for what you do. Gentlemen, you have any questions for Ms. Weatherby?
I noticed that the board, the Madison County Board, I saw Sheila Collins is the chairman. How many have we got, and who are they?
We have 5 board members. Sheila Collins is my chair. I have Linda Holloman, Nikki Simmons, Donnie Morgan, Margot Fowler is the 5th one.
Okay. All right. And how often do y'all actually, the board, meet or get involved as well?
So our board meets every other month.
Okay.
But they're pretty receptive. If I need approval or anything, I shoot an email to all of them. they email back. If they have questions, we can chat in between those timeframes if needed.
And I guess in general, what's their responsibility? I mean, as far as, I mean, what is the board charged with doing?
So the board oversees DFACs, and they help us determine what to spend the county funds on. So like I said, anything over $500, they have to approve it. I have to have it, I think, at least 2 to 3.
So that's the biggest thing that they're
Correct.
looking at. Okay, very good.
Are y'all on a calendar year or fiscal year? You all's budget?
Our budget is fiscal. It runs July 1 to June 30th.
So we're on a calendar. Because we just set our budget a month ago. All right. One last question. Well, Donnie Morgan is amazing. He's got 40 years of DFACS experience. There's nothing in the business of DFACS that he does not know inside and out through all branches. Can you update this Board of Commissioners on what your operational hours are now currently in Madison County?
They're still the same. Our front lobby is open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12 and 1 to 4.
Okay.
That's the front lobby. I will say that I have staff that's in the building every day. Me, myself, I'm usually in the building every day unless I have a meeting or court or something that I have to go to. It just works better for me to be in an office to get stuff done. I will occasionally work from home if I have something pressing that I really have to focus on and get done. But my supervisor, she's in there every day. If she's at work, she's there. And when the front lobby's not open, the lady, Rose Barnett, works my front lobby. She's processing applications that we've received. She's reviewing stuff. So she's working 40 hours, it's just the lobby's not open. That's determined by the state. They said that the way they determined when a lobby was going to open and how many days and the times was based on the foot traffic prior to COVID. Clark County's front lobby is open 5 days a week.
Yeah. That's representative in the numbers that we see that we're servicing, honestly. I mean, not your fault.
Right.
Again, not your fault.
One other thing I forgot to mention, another focus that I have been really pushing since I came, we only have, I think it's 5 DFACS foster homes in Madison County, and we have, I think it was, I forgot that paper, to add that paper to the packet. I can send it to you guys if you would like. I think we have 6 or 9, I can't remember, CPA foster homes, that's private agency foster homes, and I think we have 2 in the works. So what I've really been doing is I've been really working the unit that recruits and trains and approves foster homes is called our CREW unit. It's Caregiver Recruitment and Retention Unit. I've been working really closely with that unit to try to get more foster homes. This is a long-term goal because it's not going to happen overnight, but the 31 kids that's in foster care I would like to see placed in Madison County in a home so they don't have to leave their community, so they don't have to leave their schools. So we've been doing some recruitment. We joined the chamber. We did the scarecrows. I don't know if y'all seen them yet. We got one up with a sign, Foster Adopt. We went to some events. We're going to the November event. So I'm really pushing them. Let's get in the community. Let's get the word out. We've been reaching out to some churches to maybe come do some presentations at their church because not everybody wants to foster, and that's okay. I don't know that I could be a foster parent. I say that to my foster parents. It is very hard, but there's things that you can do. We have respite foster homes who take kids on short-term basis. We have different stuff. So I think the community is just not aware of what they can do. So that is another big focus that I have. I want to increase that number. I just think there's more people out there that would be willing if they know what it entails.
Thank you so much. Ms. Linda Kay, good to see you.
The balance you mentioned, the number of 50,000 and some change, did you point that out on this?
So you add the county, the 8,299.31 plus the 42,479.30. Add those two together. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank y'all.
Absolutely. Well, pray you get some help, young lady.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, consider a resolution to amend section 54-35A of the Madison County Code of Ordinances. This was at the request of our building inspection department in conjunction with EPD. The EPD has a very generic version of what you can and can't do, and they rely on counties to have a more stringent ordinance. So we did look into this. I think that was at the request of Commissioner Doster and Dean to make this change. Considering what's going on now between the economy and the storm damage, they are running more calls of people thinks if the fire is burning, you can throw anything in. So this is a way for us to be able to stop such and or bury such.
What is a such property?
There is no particular, no owner or occupant of any such, I mean, whichever property they shall either rent and or own. Whichever property they occupy, whether they be the owner or the renter.
So nobody can burn anything here.
You can't burn anything that's of a man-made ordinance. If it's a natural origin, yes.
Okay, we just need to make sure that's defined.
Yeah. We can add that to it. Meaning,
Any area burned litter or waste of
Yeah.
man-made order.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with the no owner occupant of any such property, was such property.
Yeah.
It says it in the first line, no owner occupant of any premises in the unincorporated areas of the county. So that's probably.
You can't strike the whole paragraph, you got to leave that first sentence in there.
Okay. With the
The
first.
owner or occupant of any premises in the unincorporated areas of the county shall.
Gotcha. Thank you, gentlemen, for.
Is this going to be incorporated in UDC?
It'll be, I'm sure it'll fall into UDC somewhere. Eddie's concerned about it popping up before the UDC's completed.
Well, I just be, I guess I would just.
Well, if we got it completed now, it'll be easy to add.
Yeah, but somebody needs to be charged with that, to make sure.
That's added to the
I
UDC.
don't know that CCO's reviewing solid waste.
We're in discussion.
I think it's in what they're discussing.
It didn't sound like what they use.
All right, gentlemen, I entertain a motion. With the correction, make sure y'all add that.
I'll make a motion that we approve this, amendment to the county code of ordinance with these corrections.
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner May. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Second by Commissioner Chandler. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner May.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. Consider approving a request for qualification of an engineering service for the Madison County water line expansion with a community development block grant, CDBG grant.
This is, requesting approval that I go out for ads,
Yes.
advertising and accepting RFQs, opening them. And it's required by Northeast Georgia for the CDBG grant, if I did get.
For engineering service.
Yes.
Would we allow Ms. Baxter to go ahead with the process to get engineering services for this CDB grant project?
All right, have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Adams. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Kirk?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, any urgent matters, gentlemen?
The only, it's certain, but it falls on the roads.
Sure.
You have a road department check on, the Summer Creek subdivision, Harold's Way, Dinsmore Drive. There were some older standards where people just didn't have radiuses built in there the way they should have been. And it's just washing and rutting. I realize people are driving on it, but with the recent storms and all, we had asked road department last April or May to put some like millings in those holes and things, double check all that.
All right, we may actually just have to do some flares on those. DOT actually told us the other day to stop using millings because they hold moisture. I don't, but okay. Dinsmore Drive and what?
I think it's Harold's Way. I think it's the two entrance roads that go in the Summer Creek subdivision.
Oh, Cumberland Creek, okay, yeah. All right, any other urgent matters, gentlemen? All right. Council's not present, so I don't, I'm not aware of any executive sessions to discuss, huh?
That's a big no.
Yeah.
He's not here.
I'm not aware of any anyway. Executive session, discuss real estate matter, acquisition, personal matter, potential litigation. So therefore, Commissioner Doster.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, sir.
2 hours high. Let's see.
I don't know, I'm gonna pass it. I think Commissioner Kirk will pick up that number 11.
I might be here.
Oh, yeah,
Look, my only thing is man-made stuff. I mean, chicken farm, it's got them pieces of stuff in there, dumping birds out, that paper,
Yeah,
they can't go out there and burn it.
And that's